The meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos concluded on Friday, and political and business leaders from across the globe met to discuss cooperation around AI, misinformation, climate and diplomacy. The theme of the forum was rebuilding trust. And on the final day, a panel discussion also took place at the World Economic Forum on trends shaping the Middle East region in 2024.
The World Economic Forum meeting concluded in Davos, Switzerland, under the theme of rebuilding trust. On Friday, political and business leaders from across the globe met to discuss cooperation around AI, misinformation, climate and diplomacy. WEF President Borge Brande said in his closing remarks that it is not possible to face global challenges alone.
There's no longer such a thing as a country, company or community insulated from global shocks. And when it comes to leveraging opportunities, it is not possible to do so alone.
On the final day of the forum, a panel at the WEF also discussed trends shaping the Middle East region in 2024.
I think that there's a growing acknowledgement that conflict in the world, particularly such as in the Middle East, must be resolved before one can actually get the trust in the economy, get the supply lines going, get a just system going and stability in the world. So I think that that realization is part of the rebuilding trust, that the Western powers and the Northern powers understand that their role in fueling conflict is not going to be helping the global economy.
India's Minister of Petroleum, Hardeep Singh Puri, and IT Minister Ashwani Vaishnav represented India at the annual meet. India's Women and Child Development Minister, Smriti Irani, too, was present to highlight reforms taken in India with regard to women empowerment. The minister said India also announced the setting up of an alliance for global good, gender equity and equality on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum.
Facts, meaning
WEF's annual meeting took place in Switzerland's Davos from 15th to 19th January. The forum provides a global platform for meaningful connections between stakeholders to establish trust and build initiatives for cooperation and progress.
And our correspondent Ishan Garg now joins us from Brussels with an update on this. Ishan, so what were the outcomes of this year's WEF at Davos?
Well, some of the key themes that dominated the World Economic Forum this year were, of course, artificial intelligence, bringing in new trade and investment into a variety of countries, climate change, and on top of it all, probably the Russia-Ukraine crisis. To kick off the proceedings, climate change envoy from the US, John Kerry, highlighted the problems associated with climate change and how the world community needs to step up their efforts to ensure that climate change does not affect several countries. He pointed out that this is a place that the world community has reached from where they can continue to building upon new climate financing models and also start hitting new deadlines that they can set themselves. There was obviously a lot of talk around the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and many of the leaders at the WEF warning that there was probably a sense of Ukraine fatigue setting in, and some of the politicians warning that that should not be the case and that the world, especially Europe, needs to mobilize against that fatigue and needs to up its support for Ukraine. Artificial intelligence, especially led by Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, was a big topic of conversation, as was expected. And that's where a role of India also came into picture, with many of the analysts saying that several Indian states also highlighting their tech capabilities, their AI capabilities was one of the highlights as the WEF. But having said that, another crisis that is very poignant at the moment, which is the Israel-Hamas war, that some political experts say did not get as much limelight at the WEF as it should have, even though Israel's president was present at WEF and addressed the conclave.
Ishan, so put that into context then, what impact does the WEF have actually on current geoeconomics and geopolitics?
Well, despite several things that it does achieve and several things that may be counted as a shortcoming, WEF remains an important platform for people from different walks of political arena and business arena to come together to discuss policies. One of the examples, perhaps, is the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, meeting with President Vladimir Zelensky, also meeting with representatives from the Middle East, from Israel, gives you a sense of what this meeting can do, what a few days at Davos can do. So it's an important summit that's held every single year, and several political analysts point out that it gives business leaders an opportunity to attract a lot of investments, gives political leaders the ability and the platform to voice their concerns on a global forum, and also have bilateral meetings on the sidelines.
Ishan Garg from Brussels, thanks very much.